From the Sunmark Federal Credit Union Content Studio, this is the Sunmark 360 with Glenn Stacy.
It's great to see you today and welcome to the Sunmark 360. Today we feature part one of a two-part series as I recently had the chance to have a Sunmark sit-down with President and Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Region Chamber, Mark Egan. The Capital Region Chamber's goal is economic prosperity for their business members and the community. Also, to build a strong community by connecting their members to people, businesses, and issues important to business success. Currently, the Capital Region Chamber represents 2,400 businesses and organizations from throughout the Capital Region that employ more than 150,000 area residents. In part one, Mark and I discussed the Capital Region Chamber and how they enable businesses of all types and sizes to accomplish more together than may have been possible on their own, including our award-winning Entrepreneur Bootcamp, which is sponsored by Sunmark, to the many services the Chamber offers to the business community, more than you may even realize. Hey Mark, thanks so much for joining us on the Sunmark 360. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good to have you. I want to start first, we're going to talk about the Chamber and all the amazing things you do here. But first I want to start with the Entrepreneur Bootcamp, because we just featured the recent winner of the spring business camp, Charlotte Guyton, who has Barton Baker, and she was the winner of the Sunmark business competition. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on just the Entrepreneur Bootcamp in general and how you view that helping our local entrepreneurs.
I don't think there's any question that what that program does, you have somebody who might have a passion, they know I want to do X or do Y, but you can't run a business just based on a passion. There's a whole range of skill sets that a business person needs. So really through the boot camp, and I often say we call it a boot camp on purpose, just like the military puts you through a camp to say, is the military meant for you? To really figure out if running a business is really meant for you. Some of us really love what we do, but we make a better employee than we do employer. So really what we do is make sure we equip them with all the background, hopefully the skill sets, but then also for them to realize that there's organizations like Sunmark in the community that are really there to help support their success. Because being in business on your own can be very lonely. So for them to know the Chamber's here to have their back, but there's so many community partners that want them to be successful. And while oftentimes large companies sort of get headlines, it's the small businesses that in many cases are really the backbone of our community and really fuel our future growth.
And really the majority of business in the country are small businesses. They are,
and even like with the Chamber, the majority of our members are businesses who employ 20 or less people.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you do see, after you talk with some of the folks that have been through the boot camp, how energized they are and how more sure they feel because we got this.
Well, one of the nice parts about the boot camp, and probably you covered it in your segment, it's not just sort of the curriculum that we have, it's then the instructors that we have are true practitioners in their field. Then we have Janet on our staff who really is there as a supporter and a cheerleader and as a real resource to them. But really one of the other components is, we really encourage them to develop a business plan. So it's not just the concepts, but really putting it into reality. So they're thinking it all through strategically. And for most businesses, if they're really going to take that idea and launch a business, they're going to need resources. Right. So if it's going to a financial institution, they're normally going to say, well, what's your business plan? Right. And for most of them, until they go through our program, they really don't have it put down on paper.
Right, and that definitely helps. What do you see as with this the boot camp? How do you see that from a Chamber perspective? It's a program that you offer, and it definitely is an asset to the Chamber. So,
well, really, the goal of the Chamber is really, we want a vibrant, growing, prosperous community. That's really why the Chamber exists. When people think of the Chamber, oftentimes they think of, well, that's an organization for the business community, or some people even think that we might be an extension of government. We're not. We're a private, not-for-profit membership association, and our members are really the regional business community, both for-profits and non-profits. So some of the smallest businesses that are in our community and the largest employers, whether it's a hospital or a GE or Global Foundries, they're all part of the organization. There's the old expression that there's strength in numbers, and I think really with the Chamber we can see that that's not just an expression, there's really truth to that. Chamber has about 2,400 members, and those businesses employ more than 150,000 area residents, again, both for-profits and nonprofits. But why do we do it? We realize that if our goal is to have a vibrant, growing community, and for individuals to better opportunities, for most people, the way they have better opportunities is by having a job or a better job. So if we look and say, we believe that business is some of the primary fuel for community prosperity. So all that we do while we're working with businesses, it's not simply for businesses to be successful. It's for businesses to be successful so we have a successful community. So that's why the boot camp is, we think we have a responsibility to help people who want to start a business who don't know where to start. And that's why we have this program twice a year, is to give them all the fundamentals. And then once a business is in formation stage, there's all kinds of resources that the Chamber has to help support their growth, or for us to be really a solution center for them.
And while we're on the topic of the Chamber, what are some of those resources? What would you say are some of the resources that maybe a lot of folks in the community might not realize are right here at the Chamber? Well,
there's a sort of, if you want to say, key areas or sort of pillars within the organization. Within our strategic plan, we have 3 sort of core strategies. One of them relates to advocacy, to really issues of public policy. That there's definitely decisions that can be made at the local, the county, the regional, or the state, or even federal level that can either help our community or be impediments to economic growth. So I'm a registered lobbyist. We have a full-time government affairs person on our staff. So we're very serious about that work. Because if we don't take a stand, what do we really stand for?
That's right.
And individuals, they're focused on their own homes, or businesses focused on meeting payroll on Friday. We're focused on those big picture issues, and how with that collective voice can we have greater impact. The other issue we have in the Chamber is we have a bundle in what we're called talent development. Years ago, I always say, if you look through the different economies, way back when we had an agrarian economy, it was communities that had almost the most fertile soil were the most prosperous. And then when we were, in an industrial economy, it was factories and machines. Well, today, as we're truly in an innovation economy and we're in a global world, that the communities, the cities, the regions that are going to be most competitive and most successful are those that have the best talent. So the Chamber has all kinds of programs to help, whether it's professional development for the individuals, or to help to connect companies to people, or to resources to help support their talent development attraction efforts. And then the piece that we just call business growth. So whether it's connecting businesses with financing, whether it's connecting them with almost what are those pain points. In many cases, you can almost think of the Chamber as we're a problem-solving organization. Whether it's community issues that could be that we're dealing with, maybe it's tied to higher education or K through 12 education, or it's from a business side. Can we anticipate what are those urging issues going to be? What are those impediments or obstacles going to be? And how can we use our collective strength to minimize or to overcome them?
In part 2, we'll get Mark's perspective on the future of business in the capital region and the challenges ahead.
We need to believe in our community, because if we expect people outside to believe in us, we need to believe in the richness and the resources that we have.
We'll see you next time on the Sunmark 360. Don't forget to follow Sunmark and the Sunmark 360 on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.